She's donated, she's gifted a beautiful orchid. And
thank you so much.
so thank you so much. It's very generous of you, and this is what Mary's Living and Giving is about. It's not just donating your parents, but also your time. You've really kind of epitomised what this whole philosophy is. So thank you again.
Oh, thank you.
Really appreciate
it. It's been a real pleasure.
Thank you. So I'm going to hand over to Alice. She's just going to give you a few minutes about some of the work that we do here with Save the Children, because that's ultimately where all the proceeds are going to go to. So she's going to talk through some of the HIV programs that we actually work on.
Thanks. Hi, I'm Alice Faye. I'm the HIV advisor at Save the Children. Hope you can hear me, sorry, my voice is a bit croaky. I'm first of all going to tell you about a guy I met recently in Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC. I've just been there, and I met a guy called Karim, who is 17 years old, and he's Congolese. He's living with HIV. He told me a little bit about his story. He was orphaned as a baby. Both of his parents died, and nobody told him why his parents had died. When he was about 15, he became very ill and went to hospital. In hospital they did lots of tests, and eventually they found out that he had HIV. After that he went back to live with his aunt and uncle, who he'd been living with before, and their attitude to him totally changed once they found out that he had HIV. They thought that it wasn't really worth their while spending any money on him, spending any time with him. They were very stigmatising. They said to him, basically, here's your plate, your knife and fork, we won't use these, and you can eat separately from us. You can still live here because he had nowhere else to live. You can live here, but you're doing everything separately from us. We don't want to give you any money for your education because, frankly, you're going to die. So life was really tough for him. It was because his aunt and uncle didn't understand that he wasn't going to die, that he wasn't good for nothing, and also they didn't understand the way that HIV is transmitted. That they could all share the same plates and knives and forks and things like that. So anyway, he managed to overcome that and still go to school. So he goes to school now. He's 17. He's got lots of ambitions for the future. But another problem that he faces is access to antiretrovirals. So he's on antiretrovirals, which are the medicines that you can take if you have HIV, which basically help you to live longer and help you to live healthily. But in Congo, because of all the conflict and the years of war and lots of other reasons as well, the health system and the health facilities are really very poor. So they don't have a reliable supply of antiretrovirals. If you're on antiretrovirals, you have to take them every day, and you have to take them at the right time every day. And if you don't, then they stop working. So what happens now is, when they have antiretrovirals in the clinic, the people in the clinic will phone up this guy, Karim, on his mobile, and no matter where he is, he has to go and get them straight away. So he can be in the middle of a lesson at school, and have a call on his mobile and say, come to the clinic, we've got ART for you, come now. However, he hasn't told his friends or his teachers that he has HIV, because he knows that the likelihood is if his teachers find out, then he'll be kicked out of school. If his friends find out, they won't want to be friends with him anymore. And in fact, one time he came back from the clinic, and I think people had started to kind of question some things, and they wondered if he did have HIV. And one of his friends went through his bag and found a box of the drugs, and they collared him and they said, how come you have these drugs? And he said, oh, I had to go collect them for my neighbour or something like that. So even then he wasn't able to tell them because of the stigma. So that's just a little bit to describe to you some of the challenges that people living with HIV have. And one of the biggest challenges he says he has is that he knows that he contracted HIV from his mother. So you can, as an infant, you can get HIV through pregnancy, during labour and delivery, or through breastfeeding if your mother is HIV positive. So he knows he got it from his mother. However, we all know also that HIV is a sexually transmitted infection. So for him, the stigma of living with a sexually transmitted infection, even though he might never have even had massive. And if he says to people that he has HIV and it was through mother-to-child transmission, that's also telling people that his mother had it. So that's also another challenge for him. It's a challenge that a lot of young people living with HIV face. So those are some of the challenges that he has. In general, in DRC, there are many challenges for people living with HIV. So there's the supply of antiretrovirals, which I kind of touched on just then. There's also the fact that the large majority, and we don't even have figures for it, don't know that they are living with HIV. The large majority of people who have HIV don't know that they have it. So that also means that obviously they can't access the medicine that they need because they don't even know that they need it.